Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganesha. And if you'd like, please visit our website at classicalyoga.org, and there's a donate button there if you'd like to help us out. Today, let's talk about the humble wisdom of the Diya. Diya is our Sanskrit Hindu word for the light without and the light within. Antar Bahir, Jyotir Bahir. Remember, the word humble means wisdom. Don't confuse that with being humiliated. Hindus, we've been humiliated far too long, and we're still allowing it to happen with the massive spurious yoga movement. Humility, humbleness, is wisdom. Understanding, think of that word, as opposed to overstanding, which is what the arrogant ego does. So fire's life. Agni Mile. Praise Mile, the fire. Agni. That's the first word of the Rig Veda. Interestingly, that was Moses' encounter with Yahweh on Mount Sinai, the fire. Fire's life. No fire, no life. The inner fire and the outer fire. Antar Bahir. Antar Jyotir Bahir Jyotihi Pratyag Jyotihi Parapara Jyotir Jyotihi Swayan Jyotihi Atma Jyotihi Sivo Shmyaham. Say to yourself, I am the light within and the light without. That light is the Atmana, beyond cause, the light of all light, self-effulgent light. The Atmana is light. We are that imperishable. The inner essence of all of us, that inner Shakti, energy of light and heat, which becomes the human experience of bliss or love. Love is a warm experience. The inner light. This is life. All religions talk about it. And light, remember, is also a feeling of buoyancy, lightness, as opposed to heaviness and depression. Down. Light. Jyoti, Jyoti, Jyotihi. So something that every devout Hindu does every day, at the very least. Many do a puja, either a relatively simple puja or a more elaborate puja, but every Hindu is enjoined to light their diya every day. And importantly, this is symbolically representing lighting the diya within. And actually, it's not lighting it, it's uncovering it, because it's already lit. It's just covered up. Just like the sun, it's there during the day, but sometimes the clouds are so thick that we just can't see it, but it's there. That's why as Saiva Hindus we wear the Tripundra, the three stripes of Vibhuti. Those are the clouds, if you will, of ignorance that hide our Atmana. Once we remove those clouds or burn them up of greed, anger, lust, it helps to have the inner vision of the inner light. Remember, when you see the sun on the horizon at quote-unquote sunrise, that's Maya, it's a red dot. And it follows the chakras, the color spectrum, red, orange, yellow, green. So we light our diya every day, and there's such a profound wisdom in that simple act of lighting the diya. And we have several festivals every year. Diwali is the most popular, of course, the row of lights. And what that row of lights symbolically within us is the chakras, the inner light, the Diwali, the row of lights. And we also have Sivalaya Deepam. But Hindus light their diya every day, and we still maintain our Agnihotras, our Yajnam, our fire ceremonies in many of our mandirs. This is ancient stuff. It's ancient and contemporary. We light our diyas and our big bonfires, and fire is very hypnotic, is it not? It draws people in. So let's look at the profound wisdom of lighting the diya. And again, importantly, the India, think of that. So what do we have to do? To light our diya, first we need a container. We need something to hold it. That's dri, to hold, where we get the word dharma. We need to understand what's holding us together. That's really the essence of religio, the religious process, using English. Religio, to link, to bind, to tie. Just humans trying to figure out what this life's all about and what holds them together. So it's an inevitable process, the religious process. Hindus call it dharma, from dri, meaning to hold. Similarly, the Sanskrit Hindu word yoga means to yoke, Y-O-K-E, from yuj, to understand what yokes or holds us together. Remember, yoga is the lifestyle of Hinduism, not today's phony yoga. It's been divorced from Hindu Dharma. So we shine a light on the ignorance. That's why we say, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, lead me from ignorance to a more enlightened state. And that's not, a silly word or a New Age word, enlightenment. It's an English word, but literally means in light we're meant to be, uncovering the inner light. It's there. We just have covered it up with all of our nonsense that we humans do. But it's a learning curve. So we light our D every day. We find a container. And it's beautiful. We often make these clay diyas. And this one's been painted, a little design on the inside. There's actually an Om on the inside. So this one's been painted. Here's a clay pot. That's the original clay. So think of that. First we have to find a container. And so we're on Bhumi Mata, we're on Mother Earth, so why not clay, earth? And that's how our Hindu's best friend Ganesha was created. He was created off of the mud of his Ma Parvati, and that's why every year we do the Ganesh Chaturthi festival where we make clay images of Ganapati, and we worship them in our home for a week, and then we do the Visarjana, we put them back in a body of water. So this is a good one for people who say Hindus are idol worshippers. And as one Swami said, we're not idol worshippers, we're very vigorous worshippers. So we see the divine, and we all have symbolism. Come on, everybody has symbolism. You all have pictures in your home. Right? And we understand the difference between, the symbol and then the reality that the symbol represents. A picture of your loved one may make you cry. When you become attached to these various spirit beings in the various religions of the world, it brings about an inner experience to you, and it elicits feelings, emotions. So we find a container, we find a religion, for us as Hindus, we find the Dharma. So we have a container, that's Dharma, and we've worked to create it, so that's Karma Yoga. It's always the first yoga, Karma Yoga. So now we have our container, Dharma, we've done Karma Yoga. So now we need to have some fuel to put inside of it. So classically we use ghee, right? That's why the cow is sacred to the Hindus, because we get so much. I mean, the cow gives us so much, especially the mother cow. She gives us milk from which we get ghee, we get butter, we get dahi or yogurt. The cow urine is very antiseptic. We use the cow dung for our sacred vibhuti, turning the BS into vibhuti, holy ash. We leap our floors, our mud floors, with cow dung. It's very antiseptic. It's beautiful. The cow gives so much. Think about it. All it does is eat basically grass and drink water. And at the other end, you have all these beautiful products that are life-sustaining. Milk is a complete food. So we have this clay diya that we've created. And now we have to have some kind of fuel. So along with ghee, we often use coconut oil. And this is a great thing for you to do. Many Hindus have done this very often, but make your own coconut oil. And the coconut, again, this is sacred to Hinduism. It's sacred to Ganesha. Think of the symbolism of the coconut, right? It has that brown, hard outer shell. That's our ego. But when we break it, crack it, open it up, purify it, refine it. We don't get rid of it, we refine it. And we see the pure white of the Atmana inside, the inner Atmana, the Antar Atmana. And the coconut also has 3 eyes, like we do. Lochana, Trilochana, the 3-eyed one. Outer and inner. So with the coconut, you can do so much. So many beautiful things have been put here by the unseen hands of nature, if you will, the divine intelligence. There is intelligent design, but there's also design that's not so intelligent. This is life itself, but we don't know who designed all this. That's just speculation. That's why when it came to those matters, our rishis were wise, and they simply said, who knows at that level? We don't know. So we go with what we do know and proceed from there. So to make your own coconut oil, you have to get the mature coconut. Remember, that's not the one that you drink. Many times you'll see people, especially in the movies, drinking. That'll give you constipation. Right? You drink from the green coconut, the coconut water that has the soft jelly inside. Once it matures into the ripe coconut, right, with the brown husk, and actually you can make rope out of the fibers of the husk. And there's so much you can do with a coconut. My goodness, you can make a whole shelter out of coconut palm fronds, make a hat. So you take and you break the coconut, and you get the solid white meat on the inside, and you grate it up. And then you take that grated coconut and you squeeze it in water, and that gets the coconut fat out of the water. And you can discard the coconut that you've squeezed or give it to the fowl, right? That's what they often do, give it to the chickens. So now you let that coconut water, right, sit. And overnight, the coconut cream will rise to the top, and you skim that off. And you can use that, as coconut cream to put on your skin. But then you can heat it up, and then you'll get the pure coconut oil. So obviously that's quite a karma process or work process. You're trying to do the right thing. That's karma. Remember, karma yoga is the first yoga, and that's our Hindu understanding of cause and effect, with the caveat that this either uncovers or covers up our inner essence, our Atmana. That's why we have good karma and bad karma. Good karma is that which uncovers the inner essence, the Atmana. So we make our coconut oil, and so now we fill our container, right, with the coconut oil. And so now look what we've done. We've done karma yoga, and we're doing bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is devotion, right? We've been devoted to our act here, what we're doing. And devotion is a secret ingredient of life. Without devotion, we won't be successful in anything we do. And devotions are very, very integral to all the religions of the world. You can always tell them by their devotions, right? You hear the ghanta and smell the agarbatti, and you know something's happening in the Hindu mandir. You hear gospel tunes, you know something's happening in the Baptist church, perhaps, gospel church. You hear the 5 times daily call to prayer, you know that something's happening in the mosque, the shofar for the Jews. So devotion is the secret ingredient of life. That's the second yoga. But remember, devotion has to be predicated on good karma, because we can be devoted to the wrong thing. Hence today's phony yoga. They're devoted to something that's unethical, that's wrong. Remember, real yoga is all about the Hindu dharma. And of all the yogas, Hatha yoga was never meant for display. That's the one that's on display. So now we have the oil, the bhakti yoga. And then we need something to burn. So maybe you grew some cotton. If you live in the tropics, you grew some cotton. You could do all this, organically. Grow your own coconuts and have cotton. So we have a little piece of cotton here. And we all have cotton, the fabric of your life, your body, your body posture, right? Asana. So now we take this cotton, right, and we can make a little wick out of it. And there's a little bit of a technique to it, because you don't want to make it too big. This is a case where small is better. So you can make you twirl it in your fingers like this, and you make a little. And this is really cool, because you can always have a light in your house, because everybody has some kind of oil. You can use coconut oil, vegetable oil. You always find some cotton somewhere, even if in a pill bottle, for example. And you'll always have a light. You don't need batteries. You don't need a flashlight. You'll always have a light in your house. This is really cool. So you make your little cotton, and you tamp down the bottom a little bit so it has a base, so it looks like this. And then you want to just saturate it with the oil, and place the little cotton wick in there. So there you placed your body. Your body is full now of devotion, right? Karma yoga, bhakti yoga. So now we're going to have to light it. So let's see. Let me take it off of here. So now we have our diya. Well, you really can't see in there, but we'll leave it up here. So you know what's going on. So we have our cotton wick in there. So now we're going to have to light it. Look at this process. Now, maybe you've done this sometimes. Maybe if you were a Boy Scout, or Girl Scout, or whatever. Been out in the woods, just try to start a fire using friction, right? Use the bow drill, or using friction to light a fire. So it's the heat, right? The friction, the heat, that causes the smoke and then causes the light to happen. And actually what we're doing here is the scientific principle of thermodynamics. Work produces heat. Heat produces light. This is thermodynamics. So this is karma and bhakti. And then the next natural yoga is Raja Yoga, where we uncover light or uncover the inner light. Work, karma yoga, produces the fervor. Devotion is often defined as religious fervor. Work produces heat. Heat produces light. That's why people get worked up in their religious rituals, and it can be a good thing. We don't want to become fanatical and hurt people with that, but it can be a good thing. And people get worked up over many things, and it's often criticizing religious people when they get worked up, but go to a football game, go to a soccer game, and watch the passion of people really getting emotionally worked up and heated. So work produces heat, heat produces light. So if you ever get a chance to actually make fire the old-fashioned way, right, it's not easy. But fortunately, we have matches today, right? So this is technology. Right? Actually, it is, because you have this red tip. Interesting, it's a red tip. Sometimes they're green, but it's often red, lighting the inner light. So there's sulfur there. But you're still doing the same process. You do it quickly because you strike the match, that's the work, and it's automatically producing heat through the friction, and then you'll get the light. Work, heat, light. Karma, yoga, bhakti yoga, raja. They're always in order. So we simply strike it, right? Work produces heat. Heat produces light. And then your little diya flame will light. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, there we go. So it is lighting here. So we've got our diya lit. Yeah, we can't do both at the same time. But it's lit here. We have our diya lit. So we've followed the process of thermodynamics. Work produces heat. Heat produces light. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga. And now we can also do Raja Yoga meditation. Right? As you look at the light, and then you close your eyes. If you look at it long enough, you close your eyes, you'll see a reaction, an optical reaction. You'll see that light, just like when you look the sun, because it is so powerful. It only takes a second when you look at the sun. You don't want to look at it very long, just a split second. And it's especially nice in the morning because you can look at it a little bit longer. But then you close your eyes and you'll see that inner light, the antar jyotir. Bahir jyotihi, the outer light, and then you look and find the inner light also. And then there will come a time, perhaps, when you don't need that process, when you can just close your eyes. And that's why Hindus wear the bindu, right? This is the mark of the Hindu. Puram bindu vajri purush. Ancient Puram bindu Indu Hindu. Soulful warrior. Be a warrior of the within. Soulful warrior. Hindu samudra dhyati vayu be. Fellow Hindus. Remember, Hindus is not a foreign word. Whether you use the H or not doesn't matter. Fellow Hindus, with the support of your breath, grab a hold of the cosmic ocean within, the inner light, the cosmic ocean, the antar jyotir. So we see that light on the outside. We see it. It's a great candle concentration, they used to call it, or diya concentration. And then it gets you used to looking there and seeing that inner light. And in a darkened room, you can see that soft glow. And you're seeing white light. And then you may see different colors, because remember, white light contains all the colors. So all you white people, you're colored. We're all colored. Different hues, and especially real white people, like, for example, myself. In the winter, I'm pretty white. And in the summer, when the sun comes out, I start to get red, and then I get a little brown. So we have all the colors. That's the outer side. That's the outer. We want to respect that. Remember, don't be color blind, and don't be a color racist either, but be color rich. You don't be color blind. Appreciate what someone is, right? Be color rich. Enjoy the richness of life. It's on the outer side. It's the superficial, right? But remember, on the inside, the Atmana, we're all that inner Atmana, which is pure light, which contains all the colors. So we're the inner Jyoti, Shakti, and Ananda Shanti. That's the inner essence of all of us, which we Hindus call specifically Satchit Ananda, the Atmana. It's beyond the mind. It's temporarily illuminating the mind. Remember, the mind has no true light of itself, just like the moon. It depends on the Atmana to be illuminated. That's why when we die, physically die, right, the mind is still there, right? The brain is still there, but it's not illuminated anymore because the Atmana has left. That's why we always use the analogy of the sun and the moon, because even though when you look at the moon on a full moon night, you swear there's light there, but it's only reflecting the light of El Sol. Right? That's why Chandra Surya always go together. And classically, Vishnu and Shiva, Surya and Chandra, Harihara Akrupa Gunashila. So we light that inner light. We've done our classic yogas, our 3 yogas, which leads to the Gyan Yoga, the inner enlightenment, as we learn from within, open the book inside of ourselves and learn. Turn on the inner light, right? And then things start to become clear. Just like when you're in a darkened room, right, and you stumble through the darkened room, you turn on the light, oh, there's where things are. Same thing on the inside when we uncover the inner light. That's the process of contemplation, right? Meditation, concentrating here on the Atmana in your specific way. Right? That's Hindu. People of other religions would do something else. They use different terminology, right? We're using Hindu. This is the Hindu way, the Hindu path. Remember, religions are not all the same. There's a lot of similarities, but they're not all the same. And if you really want to excel, you have to pick one, or find a new one, and then it would be a new one. But that's a tough road, though. So we light that inner light. We uncover it, right? Uncover the inner light. And look what happens. It's beautiful magic here, because we have the container, we have the coconut oil in there, we have the wick, and we have the light. And how does it keep going? Through the scientific principle of capillary action, right? The heat of the flame is drawing up the coconut oil, or whatever you use in there, whatever oil you use, if you use ghee, and capillary action, right? This is the ascension process, right? The heat makes things rise. Heat rises, right? That's why in the winter your ceiling will be hotter than your floor, right? The heat rises. We can use this wisdom. If you use the karma yoga, bhakti yoga, work produces heat, heat produces light. You can ascend by using more heat. If you want more light in your life, this is really important. If you want more light, enlightenment, you have to have more heat. If you want more heat, you have to have more work. So I often use this when sometimes we're doing our bhajans, and some people, right, will be very timid. Oh, Ganapati Om Jaya Ganapati Om. Well, do you want enlightenment or not? Do you want to have that feeling of buoyancy and lightness? Do you want to have deep inner light experiences? If you do, you have to turn up the heat. And if you want to have more heat, you have to turn up the work. So you have to really be vigorous. Ganapati Om Jaya Ganapati Om Ganapati Om Jaya Ganapati Om. Be courageous and speak out, sing out, right? It's something that, you don't want to be shy about doing that. Work, heat, light. Capillary action. That's why, we all look up when we pray. We don't really look down, do we? We go down in humility so that we can rise up. Steeples go up. Gopurams go up. Right? We all look up. Namaste goes up. We go like this, right? So we're all trying to use this scientific process to go up and up and up, up and in, up and in. Work, heat, light. So, again, I use the iPad here, so we run out of time. We get 24 minutes and 46 seconds. So we're going to have to do a second video on this one. So I encourage all of you to light your diya every day. Certainly as Hindus, other people of other religions, if you're not a Hindu, you could light your candles if you want. Very important. Catholics are really conscientious about lighting their little lights, their little prayer lights every day. So that chant that we do is to understand the outer light and the inner light. Anta jyotir bahir jyotihi pratyag jyotihi parapara. Jyotir jyotihi svayan jyotihi atma jyotihi sivo shmyaham. And you can see the light coming out of your eyes, can't you? Huh? The light of the Atmana. Om. Jyoti jyoti jyotihi. Shanti shanti shantihi.